All right, guys, good morning. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of grammar, and I really want to reflect. I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. I really want to reflect on the fact that we just took our ACT English benchmarking, and there were definitely some skills that we're going to be able to kind of identify and make sure that we're in good shape moving forward. Now it's about the little details. Now some of the bigger concepts have been taught. So, I do want to talk about colons versus semicolons. This was a significant issue that I saw, and I know Mrs. Stewart saw on the ACT English portion, that we were really having trouble differentiating when to use and when to not. And on the test, there were 4 questions on semicolons and colons, and that is the equivalent to 1 to 2 points. So if you were at a 16, you could have been at benchmark had you had known how to answer these questions. So we want to make sure that we are in good shape. So first of all, let's talk about a colon for a second. A colon, I just want to make sure, looks like this. A lot of people mix that up with a semicolon. Those are 2 very different things. A colon looks like this. It does not have the comma at the bottom. That's a semicolon. So a colon is this. So some of the uses of a colon are going to be for the following. You're going to have a list. And you guys know that. So when you might see something like this. So you might see Miss Bloom bought the following: dog food, soup, and fruit. And so that's kind of a big deal. So for a list, but notice before you can put a colon, you have to have a complete independent clause. Okay? If you need a diagram to make sure you're okay, that is fine. So you're going to use it for a list. Then you might use it for giving more information. So let's say Ms. Bloom bought dog food, colon, an expensive brand. So you might see Miss Bloom bought dog food, which is a complete sentence before, and then I'm adding information, an expensive brand. What I will tell you is this is very similar to using a comma. So in this case, if you've seen the answer choices, a comma and a colon, you can cross them out. They mean the same thing. And then finally, the other thing that you can use it for is use it for a quote. So if I say Miss Bloom said to her students, colon, notice it's still a complete sentence, and then the quote comes after. And really, it's all about just kind of memorizing which one to do and which one not to do. So when I get a colon question, how do I tackle it? First of all, I need to identify if there's a list, added info, or a quote. If I don't have one of those, I'm not going to be using a colon. So for this, so that's rule number 1. Number 2 is you have to assess if there is a complete sentence before the colon. So that means you might see a subject, a verb, and a complement. If you don't have a complete sentence, you're probably not going to be using a colon. So if not, don't use. So let's look. This was a commonly missed one on the English benchmarking, so I kind of want to go through it together and make sure that we're in really good shape. So it says, Liebrecht and Arnold's experiments revealed triangular snowflakes begin with the same process of the form of chemical bonding and forms a hexagon shape. Okay, great. This is the sentence that we have to focus on. So it says a triangular shape is an illusion resulting from a significant addition to the process, dust. So we are told that we are only focusing on here based on the underline. Well, I know that we have a subject, a verb, and a predicate nominative. So I know that I have a complete sentence prior to that. So we're going to be doing something. Now I know that process is a prepositional phrase and process is not describing dust. So I know that no change is wrong. Then I need to look at is. So I go back and I say a triangular shape is an illusion resulting from a significant addition to the process dust. If I put is dust in there, again, this is the object of a preposition, the OP. It can't be used as a subject, so B is wrong. So I have two options. I have a semicolon or a colon. In order to use the semicolon, I have to have two independent clauses, meaning I'm going to see a subject and a verb on each side. Well, I see a subject and a verb here, but I don't see a verb right here. So it can't be C. I'm sorry, it can't be D. So the correct answer is the colon. It's providing more explanation as to what the significant addition is. All right, let's try another. Then, so the two main types of camels are semicolon, Bactrial camels, which have two humps, and Dromedary camels, which have one. Okay, so it's using a semicolon. So I'm going to try to eliminate that immediately. I have a subject and a verb here, and I have a subject right here, but I don't have a verb that's camels aren't doing anything. It's just we have dependent clause and dependent clause. So I know it is not no change. For B, okay, could I put a colon here? Well, I got a problem. I have a subject and a verb, but I have no complement. I have no direct object or anything. The direct object actually is Bactrian camels, so I know it can't be a colon. If I look at D, you can't separate a direct object from the verb. So I know it can't be D. So the correct answer has to be C. You have to go through that process of elimination. And knowing the fact that a colon is giving extra information, it's a list, and it has to come after a complete sentence, that is really, really, really important.